The next topic is percent.
We want you to think about what words do you know that have cent in them. How about within the words? Century. What does century mean? How many years? 100 years. So it's related to 100, right? So century is 100 years. So centimeter is 1 meter, something like that. What does cent mean? 100. Like 100 cents is a dollar also. Like you say, like money. And then we can talk about what does percent mean per 100. So if we have 2%, it's going to mean 2 per 100, right? Or we can think about it as 2 per 100 in a fraction form. That's why we introduce fractions and then decimal and then percent. They're kind of related. And because we can also turn the fractions into decimal, right? To 100, if I try to turn this to a decimal number, we can try to get the denominator equal to 1. Move 2 places like that. This is 0.02 over 1 or 0.02, right? 2% is the same as 0.02. So 2% equal to 2 out of 100, which also can be 1 out of divided by 2 divided by 2. So it's 1 out of 50. And then it can also 2% be equal to 0.02, right? We just calculate that part. We are saying percentage is related to fractions and it's also related to decimal. So just give you a very basic number. They are related. Have fractions, percent, and decimal. When they're zero, they're all zero, right? If we are doing 1/2 for fractions, half for percent will be what? And decimal. And then if we are doing, say, 1 for the whole, percent would be what? How many percent? 100% would be 1 whole. So this is the whole, right? So this is 0, this is half, and this is whole. 0 fraction is 0, 1/2, and 1, right? For percentage, it would be 0. Half would be how many percent? 50%. And whole would be 100%. Okay. And then for decimal, half would be 0.5 and whole would be 1. Okay. So let's look at one of your handouts. If you have color pencil, get a color pencil or highlighter out. So we want to look at this. So this means 1350. So long time ago, they have a local number, 351. Now we change it to a common number. So look at this one. They are trying to show you visualizations of the relationship between fractions, decimal, and percentage. Look at here, how many boxes in the whole thing? 100, right? Because this is 10 times 10, right? And then I want you to count how many percent do we have showing in this picture. Okay, first one, how many percent? 36%. This is the percentage, right? If I want you to turn the 36% to fraction and decimal, can you do that? For the first one, it started with 36%. How do I turn that into fractions? This is going to be percent, right? I mean per 100, so it's going to be what kind of fractions? 36 out of 100, which is representing this picture, right? You color in 36 units out of 100. Can I reduce that? Reduce by 2, then we get 18 over 50, and we can divide by 2 again. So this will give me 9 out of 25. Is that okay? All right. And that's fraction, that's percentage. Can I turn that into a decimal number? How? You can move the decimal point how many times? 2 times what directions? To the left, okay? Because basically this is 36 divided by 100, right? Or you can think of this as moving to this direction, so it's 0.36 over 1, so this is 0.36, right? They are equivalent number. 36% can convert to a fractions and decimal like that. Are we okay? All right. I want you to try to do the next one. What's happening with the next one? This is a pie, and then they cut it into 10 big pieces. Each pieces have how many marking? 10. So it's 10 times 10. So totally how many marking? 100. So you want to count and see how many marking you have shaded in. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 73%. Do we agree? Number 2, you have 73%, but I also want you to find me the fractions and the decimal. You actually have some exam questions like this. Okay, so what kind of fraction do we have? 73 over 100 and no reducing, right? So that's all we have. How about decimal? Okay. Can move the decimal like that. It's 0.73 over 1. So it's going to be 0.73. Are we okay? We just want you to have some basic idea how to convert them. I'm going to just do this 2 converting all 3, but the next one I want you to shade in to represent 23% and 67%. So go ahead and use a color pencil or whatever you have. Shade that in for me, please. So shade in 23% and 67%. And the last one, we're going to have 6 pieces of pie. And then 7 more. So ruler come in handy. So if you're done shading in, if you can come up with the decimal number and fraction real quick. So these 2 should be pretty easy to figure out what's the fractions. Okay, I'm going to correct that. Sorry about that. So apparently I made a mistake. Sorry. Ta-da! So I should have 2 long and 3 units, right? This one I should shade in 6 pieces of pie and 7 units. Okay, so if you can, since we know this is 23% and 67%, go ahead and find me what's the equivalent fractions and decimal number. You want to make sure you understand they are all related, these 3. It's a different way that you can represent number. Okay, 23%. What fraction does it represent? 23 per 100, right? What decimal would that become? 0.23 because it's like 23 out of 100. If you move it to 2 decimal places, it's 0.23 over 1, right? How about 67%? Over 100, the decimal number would be 0.67 because 67 over 100, move decimal places is 0.67 over 1, right? Any question for this? On your next page, there is a table, and I didn't give you a lot of space on that table, but you are going to have some similar question on your homework that require you to do the steps in the table. So make sure you show your steps, and I'm going to try to show you what kind of step I'm looking for on the next page. Once you're there, flip it to the next page and think about what 1/4 will represent in decimal and percentage. On the next page, I know there's not a lot of room, but you're supposed to show some steps. How am I going to figure out 1/4 is what decimal and percentage? How do I calculate it if you really want to do it? Can you do just 1 divided by 4? 1 divided by 4 is what? 0.25 should be. But you can think of it like that, that's okay. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. So that would be the steps that you can use, 0.25. Are we okay? And then how about percentage? Percentage would be, you can change from the 0.25 to percentage. 0.25 times 100% is going to be 25%. What if I'm given 0.75? How do I turn that into fractions? 75 per 100, because it's in the 100 place, right? This is 10, this is 100. So when you turn decimal number back to fraction, it will look like that. Is that okay? All right. And then reduce it by, okay, can it go bigger? Because I don't have a lot of room. I mean, it's 5 is okay, but it's going to take a few times. What is the biggest number they can go into? 25. But on the homework, you have more space. You can do 5 at a time. Okay, so this one will give me what? 34 is my answer. It's the same as 0.75, and turn it into percentage. It's going to be 0.75 can multiply to 100%. That's the standard way to turn into percentage, okay? And then you get 75%. Okay, so far we okay? How about 70%? How do I turn that into fractions? 70 per 100, and then if we reduce it by 10, it's going to give me 7/10. And then what is the decimal number? It's 0.7. You can either do 7 divided by 10, or 7/10 is in the 10th place, or like you say, move the decimal places. As long as you show me some valid step, it's going to be okay. So it's going to be 0.7. I know it's kind of like 0.70, but okay, some students have a hard time with 1/3. So let's look at that together to turn it into decimal. 1 divided by 3, because the fraction 9 means division, right? So if we do 1 divided by 3, what will happen? What does that mean when they have a bar here? It's repeating, very good. So it means equal to 0.333, keep going, right? You can just say 0.3 with a bar on top of the repeating part. Are we okay? What percent would that be? So it's going to be that 0.3333 thing, keep going, times 100%, right? 33.3 repeating percent. Some of the book will also say this is 33 and 1/3%. They mean the same thing. Let's try this one, and maybe try this one. I feel like maybe you're ready. Okay, anybody can help me with the 0.2? 0.2 is going to be what? 2/10, because it's in the 10 position, right? Or 1 decimal place is like over 10, right? And then you can reduce it by 2. Be 1/5. Okay, how about here? How many percent? 20%. So it's going to be 0.2 times 100%. It's going to be 20%. Or you can move the decimals. As long as you show me the step, it's going to be okay. Oh, that's 1/5 again. I'm going to ask you to change that to 3/5. Oh, man. Let's change that again. I have it on my handout, but I didn't change it for the one that I made copy apparently. So change it to 1/100. Sorry. I was trying to avoid the homework question and it's all messed up. So if this is 3/5, that means how many times of the last answer? 3 times. 3/5 is 3 times of 1/3, right? So I can use this number and multiply by 3, which will give me 0.6. Okay? And if that's 0.6, then I can change that to percentage pretty easily, right? Which is what? 0.6 times 100%, which is 60%. And if you don't have this part, you can also use 3/5 times 100%, meaning 3 times 100 divided by 5. You should also get 60%. And if you're not sure what to do with this, this is basically 3 times 1/5, right? So everything times 3. You can do 20% times 3 also. Yes. From the last one, because 1/5 is 0.2. And then this is 3 times 1/5. I can move it like that. So this is 3 times the 1/5 is 0.2. So this is 1/5. 3/5 is 3 times 1/5. So you can do 3 times 0.2 here to get 0.6. And then also 3 times 20% is 60% also. Okay. That's multiple different ways to get to the answer. As long as you show me the step, it will be okay. All right, 5% is what fractions? 5 over 100. If you reduce it by 5, we will get 120. Okay, and what decimal number is that? How did you get that? Divide. What divided by what? Oh, 1 divided by 20. I was looking at here. So it could be 5 divided by 100 or 1 divided by 20, okay? 5 divided by 100, or you can do 1 divided by 20. Either way, you should get 0.05. Are we okay? Next one is 2/3. So 2/3 is going to be related to 1/3, right? 2/3 is going to be 2 times 1/3. This one would be what? Yes, how did you get that? Oh, okay. 2 divided by 3 is going to be a 0.6 repeating. Okay, or you can do like this 0.3 repeating times 2 times, right? Same thing. And then after that, how do I get the percentage? Multiply by what? 100%. Okay. So 0.6 repeating times 100% is going to get you 66.6 repeating percent. Now, last one, 1 over 100, then we can have 1 divided by 100 is 0.01. Got it? Last one, multiply to 100%. I know you can kind of see it. 1 out of 100 is 1%. Are we okay with this? There is a table on your homework. Make sure you show step in there, okay? And you will have some questions like this on the test also.